Good afternoon and welcome to the weekly press briefing of the Kosovo Specialist Chambers, where we aim to provide journalists with an update on the latest developments at the court and the opportunity to ask questions. In the Thaci et al. Case, the trial panel in a status conference on 20th March discussed with the parties various issues related to the management of proceedings in an aim to expeditiously prepare for the trial. In this regard, I would like to point out that contrary to some media reporting in Kosovo, the prosecution during the status conference confirmed that 1st of April 2025 remains the target date for closing their case. Opening statements by the prosecution, Victims' Counsel, and defense are scheduled to take place on 3rd, 4th, and 5th April 2023, and the presentation of evidence by the prosecution is scheduled to begin on 11th April 2023. Please note that pre-registration is required for media or public who would like to follow the opening statements from the public gallery in The Hague, and due to a high interest and limited space, restrictions may apply. All those who pre-registered will be provided with more information next week. In the same case, the registrar has assigned Mrs. Tijana Kostic as counsel for the 7 applicants whose applications to participate in the proceedings as participating victims were denied by the trial panel in the 6th decision on victims' participation. Any applicant whose application was rejected has the right to appeal the decision and is provided with legal representation. Also in the Thaci et al. Case, the trial panel on 17th March 2023 ordered the continued detention of Jakub Krasniqi and Recep Selimi. The panel found that there continues to be a risk that Mr. Krasniqi and Mr. Selimi would obstruct the progress of proceedings or commit further crimes against those perceived as being opposed to the KLA, including witnesses who have provided or could provide evidence in the case and/or are due to appear before the specialist chambers. In the case of Salih Mustafa, the Court of Appeals panel denied Mr. Mustafa's request to appeal the panel's decision on modalities of victim participation in appellate proceedings to the specialist chambers of the Supreme Court. The panel found, among other things, that the law limits appeals heard by the specialist chambers of the Supreme Court to appeals against a judgment of a Court of Appeals panel where either the judgment has turned an acquittal into a conviction or where a sentence of life imprisonment has been imposed, which is not the case here. The panel further found that the legal framework of the KSC does not foresee interlocutory appeals during appellate proceedings. In the Piatashala trial, the first witness will appear to testify on Monday. Hearings in this case will continue the entire week, as well as during the first and last week in May and about 2 weeks in June. You can find the exact dates and times on the court calendar on our website. The hearings can be attended in the 3 languages of the court, Albanian, Serbian, and English, from the public gallery or via the streaming function on the KSC website. In other news, KSC representatives this morning hosted a roundtable with journalists in Pristina to provide information on reporting about the trials at the specialist chambers.